Well, welcome to my next guest. He is someone who has perfected the art of B2B sales based upon trust and based upon being authentic, but also avoiding the pitfalls of the 80s and 90s approaches of sales, which is all around high pressure boiler room sales, etc., etc. So this is Yuri van der Sluis, or better known as Yuri van der, he calls himself. And he's Dutch, lives in Spain today, living the true expat lifestyle, and created a business all around his passion, which is around strategic B2B sales. He's also a speaker and an author. And his thing is about helping sales organizations really sell and build trust as they do it. Fantastic interview. Let's have a listen. This is the Expat Business Hero podcast, and I'm your host, Alex Congdon. Hey, Yuri, welcome to the call. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Fantastic, and a pleasure of being here, Alex. It's an honor.
Well, we'll save the honors for later. I think they're more for you than for me. But listen, Yuri, you've got this, there's one of these funny Dutch names, Yuri van der Sluis. And I don't even know if I pronounced it rightly, but...
Well, good enough. Good enough. It's fantastic.
But you don't tend to use, on your website, you tend to use the abbreviated name, yurivander.com.
Exactly.
How did that come about? Where did you get this from?
Yeah, so Dutch people would pronounce my name as Yuri van der Sluis. But obviously, Sluis is so difficult, so people don't even know how to spell it. So if you just take it off and say Yuri Vander, then everybody will have a pretty good idea how to spell it. And actually, the idea came about 18 years ago. I was traveling in South America, and it also happened a few other times as well. And I remember taking a bus ride. And this, I think it was in Peru, and for some weird reason at the time, they wanted my name to write on the bus ticket. So they asked me in Spanish, and I responded saying, Yuri van der Sluis, or Yuri van der Sluis. And she just wrote down Yuri Vander and just skipped my whole Sluis part. She just, made it a lot shorter. And I thought, okay, it makes sense. For them, Yuri Vander is good enough. But actually, it means right now, Yuri of the blank.
So there's something missing.
Exactly. But maybe that's also nice because we're going to talk about sales. We're going to talk also about the journey and an adventure. So Yuri of the, maybe all of us are on this journey to discover ourselves and to go to new places and wandering. We're all wandering. So that's why Yuri Vander, I like it. I don't mind it that there is a third part missing for the last part because that is also exactly the definition of creation itself.
Cool. All right, well, let's go with that then. So as you mentioned, we're going to talk a bit about B2B sales, business-to-business sales. We're going to talk about trust, and we're going to talk about how this Dutch man ended up in Spain. But let's just dive straight into your passion, and that's all about enabling businesses to sell to other businesses. And I used to work in the area myself in management consulting. It's quite a complex process doing this kind of sales. So just tell us a little bit about your philosophy around B2B sales and how it's particularly relevant today.
A great question. And it's probably has never been as important and relevant today as it has ever been. Right now, what I see is that businesses, they want to show that they can be trusted. We tend to give reviews to even the restaurant or the hairdresser down the street. With LinkedIn, the world is becoming so much more transparent. You can even when you buy orange juice, on the back, it will say exactly what the contents are, but also where it came from. So in this world of increasing transparency, in business to business as well, we want to know if we can trust the company, the product, but also the person that we do business with. We all love the movie, The Wolf of Wall Street, with this day trading. But promising the world on the phone or saying this will dramatically change your business, that type of selling is becoming less and less effective. You can spam your world into success, but spamming has becoming illegal. Even cold calling right now is a dying function because people just don't accept it anymore. So as a salesperson, as a company, if you want to sell a serious service or business that is at least $10,000 or $20,000 or more, then you have to show your level of integrity and to show pretty much instant trust and credibility. And you can't say, trust me, because people will tend to not trust you. So you have to show it. It's the same as saying, I'm funny. And people say, well, probably you're not. So you have to tell a joke so people will think that you're funny. So how do you engage new customers in such a way that they believe that you have a high level of integrity and at the same time it's attractive, whatever it is that you're proposing? So what I do right now is companies in Europe and around the world to help in today's world to guide potential clients for them from A to Z, where trust, transparency, and a high level of quality is at the center of the way how they're selling.
I mean, give us some ideas of what someone could do to build trust with a counterpart that they're discussing sales.
Yeah. So, I can give you 1,000 of ideas, but let's start with a very simple one. One of the most common mistakes is that you practice your own elevator pitch, and you practice it so much, and you believe in your elevator pitch that it's a mental recorded story, and it's one story you tell to all. The bad thing about it is completely discounting the audience. You're not recognizing the unique existence of someone else. So it's the first mistake that you're completely disregarding the other person. So if you want to build trust, you have to show that you understand whoever is sitting in front of you or in a video call like us right now, or with an email, that you show that you've truly thought about the context of the other party, the company, the person, and you weave that in your elevator pitch. And you show that your level of research is something that is important to you, not because it sounds nice, hey, I did my preparation, but also because you believe it's important to ensure that you're looking for value where it makes sense. And this already starts in a very first instance.
So, I mean, you've worked with a lot of clients around Europe, around the world. I mean, have you found, as you've gone into these clients, a lot of, Wolf of Wall Street type setups that you've gone, oh my God, what's going on here? I mean, without obviously naming anyone, but what have you found when you've gone into these kind of clients?
Well, you can immediately see what strategy they follow. So you either have a pack of wolves that are pounding the phone, spamming clients, and telling stories, whatever it is, just to get that signature. And they have a high level of customer churn, and salespeople tend to leave quicker, and it's a big mess. Or you have the other way around, where you have a sales director or VP sales that truly wants these customers to come back and to buy more products, and that they truly want to build a reliable, sustainable business. And you can see instantly where they would like to be. The majority wants to put value and transparency at the center of the way they're selling, but don't realize that what they're doing often sounds more like a wolf way of selling, just because that's what we're all used to. We're taught to, there's a Dutch phrase that selling starts when the customer says no, which is weird. Why would you need to sell when a customer says no? Even if the customer says yes, you still need to sell. You still need to qualify. You still need to ensure that there's value out of that transaction. It's not a matter of yes or no. There's a degree of match and value. And as a salesperson, you want to make a difference. So if you look at the majority of the sales methodologies being taught today are sadly still based on the 80s and the 90s, and they're not embracing the future way of selling, which is completely different.
I mean, you are an entrepreneur. You have to sell yourself when you go around. I mean, if there were 2 or 3 things that you could perhaps share as experiences or tips for other people in a similar business to yours, what would you say with regards to selling? Because I think it's the biggest task that a small independent business owner has, but it's also sometimes the biggest fear they have
Yeah.
is to get out there and
Yeah.
sell.
So there are several ways how to sell, obviously. But if we're zooming in not our process or technology or the scalability, but more in terms of how do you engage customers and how do you show that you can be trusted and it will become interesting for the other party as a consultant or independent coach. I think it comes back to what I said earlier. What I always do is to show that I understand their business, or I tend to understand their business. So I immediately, it's like the highest level of business empathy you can possibly absorb. So if I meet a VP sales at a certain industry, I immediately zoom in and I'm trying to imagine what it would be like, the size of the company, the sector they're in, the type of people they need to deal with, the type of customers that they have. And I use that as a way of trying to level with that person to first understand in what world do you live in? And secondly, what are the challenges and how could you improve your life? Now, my expertise is sales, but if I would be a coach in terms of stress, or I'm a coach in time management or finance, it doesn't matter. The process is still the same. You want to make sure that the other person feels that you understand that person, or at least try to understand. And if you're so busy with selling your product and tell how great you are, it's fine, but that is not the best way to sell anymore. Because right now, if they're looking for skills, they can find any skill in the world. It's not the skill that they're buying. It's the security that they're not just buying the skill, but also the skill that is constantly looking to adapt their skill on your unique personal situation.
Wow. Okay. That's great. And it reminds me of a phrase I've often heard, and that is that if you're able to connect with somebody and describe their world and their problems better than anyone else, they're more likely to believe that you have the solution to their problems. That's
understanding the real problem is half the solution. That's always my quote. Understanding the real problem is half the solution.
I like that one. Maybe I'll use that sometime.
Yeah, fantastic.
So you finally got your book out now in English. It's called Trust Me, I'm a Salesman. Tell us a bit about the book, but also, one of the metaphors you use in the book is this whole idea of the wolf and dogs and this idea of how they approach engagement. But also I want to know, why you've decided to use cartoons as well in the book, which I thought was a very interesting way of laying out the book. But I'd love to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so maybe it's nice to tell a short anecdote. I was training one of the largest real estate companies in Holland. Actually, it's part of a global company. And I did one exercise. There was a woman, and she did not believe in selling. She said it's negative, and salespeople always try to screw you. You can't trust them. It's always over the top, and you can't take their word for it. All the negative stereotypes. Surely there must be good sales guys in the world as well, right? Yeah. So I asked her, okay, what should a good salesperson do? So asking questions, understanding the need, trying to add value, be honest, and all those terms. And then something crazy happened. We did a role play. In my trainings, I always do a role play because it shows in situations you're simulating how to act in a certain sales situation. And lo and behold, she copied the negative salesperson she hated and tried to avoid being. And that's exactly the behavior that she showed, which was weird. So I asked her, so why did you do it? You're against that way of selling. And who taught you to do this? I said, I don't know. I think this is just the way how you should do business. And so I'm that's the behavior I'm showing. And it's not only ineffective, but it was also against her nature. And that's the moment I thought, okay, the essence is the wolf between the dog. And a lot of people want to find out how can they be successful by aligning with their personal values and not being a different person in business. And then you screw people and then and then you're a good father or mother and you're nice to kids, but in business we screw each other. A lot of people want to feel authentic and take those personal values and use it in business as well. So, but then we need new tools. So I thought, okay, it's great that from the process, from the beginning to the end, I can show you, even with a simple cartoon, what would the wolf do and what would the dog do? Because we know, all of us know negative stereotypes of those salespeople, because the Wolf of Wall Street and all those boiler room type of movies, we've seen that behavior. But an extreme dog, an extreme positive centered value and transparent salesperson, we don't have any stereotype. We don't have any examples in the world of a good, successful salesperson that has value and customer satisfaction at the center of their business as a person. In companies, we may know some examples, but as people, we don't have that, that stereotype. And it's really annoying, because we cannot be inspired by anything. It is only what we're trying not to be. And the sad psychological thing is, what we're trying not to be, we eventually become. So we need a positive mindset and again, an example. How could you act in this particular situation? So that's why I wrote the book. And that's why I created the dog that also deserves the stage, not the sexy, bad, funny, horrible salesperson that we can laugh about and enjoy in the movies, but obviously we would never buy from this person.
So writing the book must have been an experience which was very cathartic. You've got it all down on paper now. Has that been a tool which has helped you in your business in terms of getting your message out there? Because a lot of people think about writing books and thinking, well, that could be really helpful for me to connect, with my audience.
Yeah, so it has helped me on a lot of fronts. First of all, it's something that anytime I give a speech, a sales speech, and there are a few hundred salespeople in the audience, I give my book. Or if I have an intensive training, 20 people in the room, I give my book. But also if I meet a VP sales and I analyze their sales process and I look at, okay, what are the major challenges? I sometimes take my book and I show them just one visual to clarify why they're losing customers or why their conversion ratio of certain opportunities is lower than what it could be. So I'm using my book in my work and not as much in terms of selling it online with landing pages and movies about my book, but in my business, it has absolutely boosted my level of authority, also my level of trust, because it's not just talking about what you believe in, because that can seem random. The moment you put something on paper and in a book, it's such a painful process. You truly have to believe in it. Otherwise, you can never get it printed. It means that is something that you believe in. And I think it's also one of the major mind blocks or reasons why certain self-employed consultants are not writing books, because it's also scary to send out your message. What do you truly, truly believe in? Because it's easier to adapt to what you think from an opportunistic level works here or works there. But this is a way of coming out. And it really has liberated me in such a way that I feel that this is what I believe in. And whatever happens to the world, this stays. That's why, and maybe that's a bad thing about the book, but it's also the good thing about the book. You won't read anecdotes. You won't read statistics. You won't read trends. This is, for me, a universal law that will always apply, even 100 years from now, when there are no books anymore and somebody finds, trust me, I'm a salesman somewhere. I still want those values to be recognized as something that is ethical, that is something that makes you proud, that sets you apart from a good business person.
Yeah.
Literally, but also from a result perspective, but also literally in the process, and not just by the level of your bank account.
Fantastic. Well, listen, let's go back. Let's go back in time a bit, because there's a story here about how you got to where to here in the first place. So why did you set up this business? Take us back to how you set it, and how did you end up in Spain now, or you're in the process of it?
Yeah, so I've been a salesperson in the business to business area for a while, for almost I think, around 10, 15 years. And in my last job, that was about 10 years ago, I found that I really took a lot of satisfaction of helping sales organizations and my sales colleagues to become better in negotiating and landing new accounts. And I thought it was so thrilling to help someone else to be successful, almost more thrilling to sign my own deals. Because after a while, there was another contract, and then you've seen it. But to work with others to be successful, that was for me more challenging and actually more rewarding. So that's when I changed. So now I've trained about 12,000 people within 200 companies, and it was mainly in Holland. And I love traveling. I've traveled around the world, and I love Dutch people. I am Dutch. But, as a real Dutchman would say, the world is bigger than just Holland. And I want to embrace the world in its entirety and not just have a very limited view of the world. In fact, in high school, I remember that one day, I don't know why I remember this particular quote or sentence. It was a woman, a female teacher, and she told the classroom, listen, Holland is worth nothing without its neighbors. You have to master other languages, learn English, learn French, learn German, learn other languages, and connect to the world, because Holland would not exist without its neighbors. And for some reason, that single comment still drives me today to reach out and to learn how other people are selling, how other people are doing business, and to learn and to grow in a truly multicultural global society. And it's not always easy, but right now we've lived in 6 countries, and up to the point that today, since August last year, I live in Valencia with my beautiful wife and 2 kids. And I'm traveling frequently out of Spain. And we chose Valencia, and we didn't know a single person. A little bit of Spanish, not even that impressive, but we didn't know a single person. And I think that is the true adventure of life.
So you've got this mission to make this business that you're running right now work, regardless of where you're living.
Yeah, exactly. And we've all seen the beautiful videos online and remote working. And first you got this sexy looking dude and a girl surfing, and then suddenly they're behind the computer, and then it looks nice. But I have a family. I got 2 kids. And apart from the fact I'm a shitty surfer, this is not a corporate life. At the same time, I want to prove that even in a boring corporate life where you got rules and big serious processes, you can still prove that you can have a dynamic remote working situation working for you. And I want to prove it. Now, I am not there yet, because the majority of my business, that will be about 70 or 80%, is still Holland. And I got clients in Spain and England and sometimes the US, but it's still the majority is Holland. But by living in Spain, by moving from my local language, everything to English, and launching online products, I'm moving away from relying on where I'm from. Because if you can truly keep serving your customers, but find new customers they're not related to your home base, that moment is where true freedom starts. Because that's the moment you kind of break away from your family in a way, and that you can live on your own and embrace the unknown world. And for me, Holland is my home base, my home country. It's easy to find clients in Italy or Ukraine or India. That is, for me as an independent consultant, trainer, speaker, that's another level. And that is something that I truly decided to master.
And I think it's a very aspirational message as well for a lot of expats who are setting up their businesses away from their home countries, because they do feel that vulnerability about being in a country where, if they're out of the job market or if they're looking to set up a business, how do I make this work? How do I not rely upon the local market? and make sure that I've got footings in, around the region or the world. So yeah, that's fantastic what you're doing there. Really, really, really aspirational, I think, for a lot of people listening to this call. So, I mean, it can't have been easy getting to where you are today. Now, I mean, what have been some of the ups and downs that you've had along the way? What have you struggled with, or maybe still struggling with?
Yeah, so first, the desire to have routine and the need of routine is something that I'm still struggling with because there's no routine. So every week is different. A country and a ticket and a hotel every week is crazy in a sense. And I love a dynamic world, but usually what I was used to was you go to an office 3 weeks every month or more, and then 1 week you travel and then you come back, but you have your daily routine. But now there is no daily routine because every week is different. There is no routine. So that means I need to plan which country am I going to work, for how long, for which customer. And I need to plan everything also with my wife and my 2 kids. So that is really challenging. And I'm still finding the best way to balance that. At the same time, what is starting to work more and more is you said it earlier, there are 3 choices. Either you fully rely on your old customers, your old network where you came from, but you decided to live somewhere else. So you fly all the time and you're just living further away. Instead of in a traffic jam, you take a flight. But you still fully rely on your old network, your old business. Or you completely morph it into and become a local hero wherever you live. And it will take a year or 2 years and you'll find your clients. And that is your choice. Or you go to the third option. And that is what I'm doing right now. I start with what my business is relying on. And I'm moving into the third scenario that I keep certain customers. And I am exploring new countries and new territories so I can choose my customers. And I would love to have some customers in Valencia. I live in Spain, Valencia. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be Holland every week. So that means there's only one condition or prerequisite that I need to change in order to make this happen. I have to bring a portion of my business online. And we all see there are a lot of gurus out there that are moving to online training and online coaching. And there is still this online training and online skills transfer is it sees the biggest explosion of new services and a whole new industry that you've ever seen in this space. And sadly, the people that don't have the skills are embracing this new way of training and online training. But older people like you and me, I'm not saying we're old, but the people that have 15 years of working experience or 20 or 25 are still thinking in traditional business models. And you got these young people, even with Instagram training and a lot of fancy stuff and fancy videos and promising the world, but they are delivering these online trainings. And the majority of people with skills and 25 years of experience like you and me are not embracing this virtual online world yet, not fully, the majority at least. And I am one of those. And I'm committed and I'm forcing myself. The easiest thing to do is move back to Holland. I got plenty of business, good world, nice life, nice house, that's it. But then I'm going to comfort instead of adventure. It's either comfort or adventure, and I choose adventure. So that means that I have to embrace technology. And I already wrote a book, so that's one step forward. And now it's embracing the next step, and that is delivering online content, which I'm making right now. And in March, I will be launching this officially. Now, there's another trick here. Because if there's nobody forcing you to do this, you end up in your comfort zone again.
Of course, yeah.
So what did I do? I sold it to my customers. So every training or consultancy that I'm selling right now to a customer, I'm selling an online component attached to it. and they pay for it. So now I have to deliver it, and it will be in English. So in this way, I am using what I have in Holland, and it will transfer into this hybrid world, if you will, that I have Holland, but also other customers, and the virtual world, because I'm selling it. So now I have to make it, and I have to deliver it.
That's brilliant. I mean, I'm working with a client right now, and he's typically been working with a corporate market, and it's definitely been a face-to-face paradigm for him, consulting and training. And he's just started to put out the idea to his clients that let's do this online. I can train you and coach you at distance just as better, in fact, even better than before. And to his absolute amazement, they said, yes, I'm up for it. So if you can crack it with your customers and sell this new way of delivering value to them, then I think as an independent business owner, there's gold at the end of the rainbow for you, because that's going to really help you with your lifestyle, your freedom, and you're going to hit the jackpot there. So
yeah, and the market is ready, the technology is ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's only us and our mindset, and it's also you have to change the protocol, because the majority of the clients, and I'm talking about boardroom clients, large corporations, they prefer to, if you're selling yourself for 2 or 3 grand a day or more, or 200 or 300 euros an hour because you're an expert in your field, then they prefer for you to be physically present. If you then say, yeah, we can do a Skype session, it kind of takes the value out of it. So how do you sell something that will be perceived as a high quality, high end, to still be able to charge similar levels as if you would be physically present? Yeah. So you have to be creative, and it means that you need a few iterations before you crack that code. But these business models are emerging as we speak, and I say let's not give this market either the LinkedIn platforms with online learning and only they can deliver that skills, or the lower end with I love those platforms, Fiverr and People Per Hour and Upwork. But there is a world in between. The online platforms for the very affordable skills and the high-end learnings of the LinkedIn learning platforms. And this world in between, this is something that we need to own together and educate our clients and find new ways of delivering content and skills. And this is something that I am working on every day. And it's not an easy journey, but I also know that this is the only journey that will make sure that I'm innovative and still living in a world that will be there tomorrow, and not be an old-fashioned guy that needs his physical flip over and go to your traditional classroom training, if you will.
Fantastic. Very aspirational. Definitely what a lot of us should be aiming to achieve. So, well, listen, that's a great story about what you've been through, how you ended up in Spain. What about the future? What do you think the future holds for you? What do you want to aim for with this business?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, it's what I aim for is to increase my audience. Right now, I coach and train, and I see maybe 500 or 1,000 salespeople every month, a few hundred. But I want to create a community and to share my message and my training to as many people in the world as possible. And so I'm going to invest heavily in this. And I'm also going to do a lot more online training and video training, and also actually developing software to help people to facilitate that sales process that we spoke earlier, to help them to become the dog in their daily work with skills that will be available instantly. So that's the software that I'm actually building right now. So that is what the future will hold. But at the same time, who knows what the future will bring us? It's always an unknown factor. But I always will be there to help and inspire salespeople to make the most out of their opportunity. And it doesn't matter if you are a sales director or a VP sales that is managing 1,000 salesmen or sales organization, if you will.
All run from your world headquarters in Valencia.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, listen, Yuri, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to finish off just by helping people understand how to how to find you. So you got your website, which of course it's yurivander.com. We've taken off
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
Sluis bit there. So yurivander.com, and people can hook up with you there. Although you do like to engage with people a lot on LinkedIn. As you said, it's one of your favorite platforms. So.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody can find me, Yuri Vander Sluis, Sluis. They can link with me and ask me any question. Also ask if I have connections or if I can help them with their business or with their ideas anytime. So definitely.
Yeah, and I'll put the links in the show notes afterwards. Of course, you've got your book on Amazon. Trust me, I'm a salesman. Yuri, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk with you. I know you're currently traveling right now, so you're going to be back on the road soon. But let's do this again sometime in the future. Well, let's carry on, and I wish you all the best.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it, and we'll talk very soon, hopefully.
Thanks a lot, Yuri. Bye.
Bye-bye.